my intent is to have more than one boyfriend. 2 would probably be perfect, 3 at the most. Which obviously would include an emotional poly situation. I'm not really that fond of polysexuality. Again, I go back to the thing where I'm extremely picky. If I have deemed you worthy of having sex with me, I kind of want you to stick around and get a little bit emotional with me. So I'm not saying that I don't have casual sex. I do sometimes, but I prefer an emotional connection with more than one person. What is actually happening right now, and what has actually been happening for the past couple of years, is an attempt at that, but my pickiness has sort of gotten in the way of that. Actually...
Her pickiness.
My pickiness. But, I've realized something fairly recently. The first, about the first year that I was with Rye, he was really all I could focus on for that first year. And, I realize now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't even told you, but I kind of realized that I was semi-clingy on you.
Well, you'd come in on such unstable ground.
That too, yes.
We went through a lot of dramatics in the first 6 months of our relationship. It was a miracle that we survived it, and we probably should have parted ways, but the emotions kept us tethered to each other. There was some drama that went down, and I think on normal circumstances we would have dumped each other. It would have been like, this is too much of a hassle.
Oh, believe me, I tried. I tried to dump him. But I don't know, my heart was just like, no, this one's worth it. So anyway.
Like I said, I was heavily involved with multiple other people when we met. So there was the destruction of relationships, there was just a lot of craziness. I ended up having the most serious partner temporarily move in with me, which is unheard of. I never lived with anyone, and she was in a bind and lived with me for a few months, so that created tension. There was a lot of tension creating things that happened during that first 6 months. So in defense of your own clinginess, you wanted to make sure this was real and going to work and going to last. So of course it took a lot of your attention.
Yeah.
And I really, after some screw-ups, I had to put in a lot of effort and attention to make sure that you believed me, that this was going to last, the past was behind us. It's very difficult to reestablish trust and reestablish that the past is the past.
Especially when that's all I knew. When I first came in, it was like crazy the second I walked in the door. But anyway, in having that first year with him, I wasn't even thinking about seeing anyone else in that light. So that first year was pretty much geared toward making sure that we were actually working, and it was only 6 months, maybe 9 months ago, that I really started actually looking out there and seeing other people and seeing them as potential partners. It was something that kind of surprised me. To actually look at someone and go, oh, wait a minute, let me think about that for a second, because I never did that before. So, to answer your question, I'm still working toward that ideal situation in my mind of having 2 or 3 serious emotional connections. It hasn't gotten there yet, but I do believe that at some point it will.
And Ryan, for you?
A couple of caveats on this. At the time, in that first year that she mentioned, we were functionally a mono-poly situation, where she was the mono and I was the poly. I was emotionally involved with multiple people and she was not. And that was an ongoing for the better part of that year. The difference being is that she had extreme freedom and encouragement for me to change that, but she rarely pursued it and was a bit frustrated by it. There were times where she would bring up that inequality, and it would be a bit of a time management issue, which is beyond the jealousy question. Is time management. How do you manage the time? Well, it was tricky. And I besides work, I put a lot of time into my multiple relationships during that period of my life. So now on to me. I fall into the extreme side of polyamory in the sense that I yearn to be bonded with multiple people. I have to be. And when I'm not, I will be soon enough. I'm a chaser. I go out and I'll see, literally see women that I'm attracted to. I'll pursue them. I'll get to know them. I'll get their phone numbers. I'll become friends with them. I'll become more with them, whatever the case may be, and I'll start to move forward emotionally just by spending time together. So it's kind of almost systematic, where there's the sexual attraction, then there's the platonic kind of intellectual connection and a sexual connection, and then from there we kind of keep circling through and seeing if that's going to last. So it's basically unheard of for me to not be attached to more than one person at any given time. And that wasn't always the case. 10 years ago, my intention was to get married and have sex with one person for the rest of my life. That was the goal, and that's what I was pursuing. And what it ended up being is I was having sex with no one because they had to meet wife standards. They're like, this is gonna be my wife. I don't even know who you are, but you're gonna be my wife. And now it's a lot more trial and error. And then as Wicked and I have continued and become more serious and lasting, I'm willing to do a lot less error. So there's a lot more trial now. So I'm a little more hesitant than I used to be to pursue so heavily and move so quickly. I try to make more compatible decisions from day one. And if I go, an extreme, if I go on 30 dates in 30 days, my goal is to eliminate 29 of those girls. 29 of them are not compatible enough anyway. So I want the one that actually is gonna fit. I'm looking for the one, I already have a one over here. So you have A1, my steak sauce right here. That was her joke, I just said it aloud.